Innards, we are going to do a review and breakdown of Dune Prophecy starting now. Welcome to the Nerd Social. I am Colin. So, Dune has come out with a new TV series. It is on Max, and it's called Dune Prophecy. The synopsis of this show is set 10,000 years before the events of Dune. The series follows sisters Valya and Tula Harkonnen as they combat forces that threaten the future of humanity and establish the fabled sect known as the Bene Gesserit. And episode's one title is called The Hidden Hand and is written by Diane Ademu-John and directed by Foerster. So the spoiler-free logline of the first episode is on Wallach IX. Young Valya Harkonnen promises Mather Superior Raquella that she'll protect the Sisterhood by putting one of their own on the Imperial Throne. 30 years later, Valya faces a threat to her long-awaited plan. So my spoiler-free thoughts on Dune Prophecy is the world building was very cool to see and examining all the different players on the chessboard. So you get a whole introduction of all of that going on. And it's a little bit removed from the movies. So it's definitely in a good way. They can expand on the story if they want to. They can time jump if they want to. So it does give them some creative license as to what they're going to do and not have it affect what the movies are going to transpire and have plot holes. So I think it was a good idea for them to do that. And also, I think that the first episode was a little bit of a downer, but I'm giving it time to simmer because you never know what's going to happen with all the storylines. So for me, I'm just in a lot of ways withholding judgment and just see what it is and then decide later on how to go about judging it. There's a lot of setup in this episode. Is it to say that it's compelling? Yeah, there's some good things here and there, but I wouldn't say it's really groundbreaking, but it still intrigues me a lot because it's the world of Dune. The time jump, although, was very jarring. I think that maybe they would have spent a little bit more time with the younger Valya. That would have been great to watch, but maybe they just didn't have enough story. So they said, oh, just fast forward to 30 years. So in terms of rating, I would give it an 8, which is a road trip. I think that it's definitely worth watching if you are really into Dune, really into the mythology and the story of the 2 movies that you've seen so far. I think that this gives a little bit more context as to one of the parts of Dune that may be somewhat mysterious to the audience and shed some more light as to what this mystery is all about. Now, for some audiences, that might not be very good because you might want to leave it as mysterious. Star Wars actually fell in this trap as well with Darth Vader having the prequels. Not that the prequels were good or bad, but people have different viewpoints as to how they view something that's mysterious. And so I think that this is probably the same type of thing where some people would like the mythology and get into it a little bit more. Some people would rather just leave it alone. So those are my thoughts and why I rated Dune the way I rated. If you like what we have to say about Dune Prophecy and other content that we put out there, please like, share, subscribe for more. We really appreciate your support and we are growing as a channel. And without further ado, I'm going to present spoilers from episode 1. So we start off with the death of the Mather Superior in the first parts of the episode, and we'd also give some context as to what has happened to bring them to this situation. So there was a war of the machines, which reminds you a lot of the Matrix, and so there was a group of people that was exiled to another planet, possibly from Earth, but we don't really know fully what planet. And so we see that the Mather Superior Raquella was a soldier, and also Valya was also a soldier. They were able to create this sisterhood, and throughout the years, as Raquella grew older, she was much more paranoid about the imperial power. And so she made a promise to the Sisterhood that they would gain power and gain prominence in the future. Valya just took that, ran with it, and made a promise to the Mather Superior that she will follow through on that request. We see that there's a rivalry between Valya Harkonnen and Dorothea, who's a little bit more pragmatic a little bit more skeptical about the rule of the Mother Superior. Here we can see that Valya uses the voice, and we saw the voice happen in the Dune movies before, and this is the first time that the Sisterhood has actually used the voice to control other beings, and Dorothea actually killed herself while with Valya using the voice here. And basically is to disallow Dorothea from having some type of influence in the Sisterhood, and therefore Valya becomes much more of a prominent figure. And you can see here, this is what happened 30 years later. She is now the Mother Superior, and she has now a big plan to place one of the members of the Sisterhood into the heart of the Imperium. It blinds her in a lot of ways to other things that might happen. And you can see here that the counterweight to Valya is her sister, Tula Harkonnen. There's definitely some tension between the two, and also there's a mutual respect that they have with each other to bounce off ideas. Definitely, we know who the boss is, but there was a moment where she didn't really value it very much, and it was pretty jarring in a sense. We then get to see the different part of the storyline with Constantine. He is the illegitimate son of the royal family. He actually goes to Wallach IX to present to the Mother Superior the princess, to groom her to become this ruler of the Imperium with the gifts and the powers of the Sisterhood. And so we don't know what the intention of this was at the beginning. We don't know if Constantine's going rogue on this, or whether or not this was at the blessing of the emperor. Then we get to see the princess, who is going to be part of the Sisterhood, and she is fighting a battle. We get some sense that she has some parallels to Paul Atreides, but the person that she is confronting here is actually an Atreides as well. His name is Kieran Atreides, and so they do get a little hot and heavy later on in the episode, but you can tell that there's definitely some love tension between the two. We also get to see the Sisterhood, how they are training their potentials, as everyone's going through certain tests. They are outside training martial arts. They're also training their minds, where each of the potentials see if someone is lying or being deceptive or just telling the truth. Each of them go through a trial. There's a funny moment where one of the potentials was basically telling her backstory of how she was abused and how she killed her parents, and basically was making a light joke about the whole situation. We also see this mysterious figure, Desmond, who was on Arrakis and was fighting the Fremen, and so he brings warnings to the Emperor about certain things that are happening on Arrakis, which leads to the Emperor trying to make sure that he is in a very good alliance with the Rechazy house that we will see later on. And we don't actually know what Desmond is all about either. We don't know if he fought with Fremen. We're not really sure how he even gets to this place, but the Emperor does invite him to his daughter's wedding. We see Kasha, the truthsayer for the Emperor here, and she gives a warning about what will happen to Yanez if she continues down this path of being the future Empress and also being the future truthsayer as well. And so Kasha did not attend their wedding and went back to the Sisterhood to warn the Mother Superior as to what the hell might be going on with Yanez. And so she also has a vision of Yanez being in danger. We get some sort of resolution at the end of the first episode. Here, the Emperor and the Empress, there's some discussion to the marriage that's happening between Inez and the young 9-year-old Pruitt Rechazy. And so the Emperor is saying that we really need this alliance so that we can protect our ground on Arrakis. And so we need the ships from House Rechazy, while the current Empress, Natalia, is very against the marriage, doesn't think it's a very good idea. And she also went back to him and asked him, "You used to seek my counsel, but now you seem very distant." The Emperor seems as though he's caught in a rock and a hard place, and we'll get to see what other type of machinations he's going to make as the story moves forward. Here's the picture of the marriage between Pruitt and also Princess Yanez, and definitely some awkward moments here and there between the two. You can definitely tell that Yanez thinks that she has the upper hand against this 9-year-old, but we'll see. We don't really know because she already has planned her life, definitely a marriage based on political alliances. We then get to see that Pruitt has this machine like lizard that comes out during the wedding, and it freaked everybody out. This is prominent because of the backstory that happened at the beginning of the episode we saw of their distrust with machines. And it's a very funny moment where Yanez called him a little S and basically dismissed him outright. And you can tell that Pruitt is a little bit more mature than his age, but he's still a child. So you can't really fault him for being a kid, but you also might want to blame his parents for putting him in this position in the first place. Then we get to see Desmond again at the end, where he gets to be with Pruitt alone. And the most shocking moment of the episode is when Desmond visualizes or has some type of power where he is basically burning Pruitt to death. And we could see that Kasha is also burning to death, even though she's on Wallach IX as well. And that pretty much ends the first episode. So the mystery is, who is this Desmond guy? Why is he there? And why is he willing to kill Pruitt and Kasha at the same time? And what kind of power is there when these players are far away? Why does he have the power to do that? So those are some of the mysterious questions about Desmond that needs to be answered. And also questions about what are the intentions of the Emperor right now, and whether or not he's concerned about what's happening on Arrakis, and how does he take control of the situation without looking weak to all the other houses that are there. Again, there's some really nice moments here and there, some really good introductions, but we'll see what happens with this whole story and whether or not it improves, or is it going to be just a meh, or is it going to be a consistent 8 throughout the 6 episodes that's going to be coming on Max. So those are my thoughts about Dune Prophecy, the episode 1. We like to hear what you have to say about this episode, so please comment down below, like, share, subscribe for more content like this, and we will see you in the next video. All right, take care, everybody.